Welcome to Module 14, Lesson 6. In this lesson, we are going to work on renaming fractions with denominators of 10 and 100, so both have denominators of 100. This way, we can add the fractions. So we're going to work on finding equivalent fractions in this lesson and then adding those fractions. All right, let's take a look at number 1. A cook measures the mass of salt and puts it in a bowl. Then she measures the mass of pepper and puts it in the same bowl. What is the mass of the salt and pepper mixture? So salt is 4/10 of a gram, but the pepper is 25 hundredths of a gram. We can add two fractions if they have the same denominator. Do these? No, they don't. When fractions have the same denominator, they have a common denominator. But the fractions 4/10 and 25 hundredths do not have a common denominator. We can always rename a fraction with a denominator of 10 as an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, though. So, if we're trying to find the denominator of 100, what do we need to multiply our denominator by? We'll need to multiply our denominator by 10. Now remember, when we're finding an equivalent fraction, if we multiply our denominator by 10, then we also must multiply our numerator by 10, because we must multiply by a fraction equivalent to 1. So we find that our equivalent fraction is 40 hundredths. So now we can add our fractions. 40 hundredths plus our 25 hundredths, right? This is our salt. This is our pepper, will give us the total mass of 65 hundredths. Right, so the problem asks us, what's the mass of the salt and pepper mixture? It is 65 hundredths of a gram. Let's go ahead and complete problem 2. A wallaby jumps 7/10 of a meter. Then it jumps 18 hundredths of a meter. How far does the wallaby jump after jumping twice? Write an equation to model the problem. Use J for the distance the wallaby jumps after jumping twice. So go ahead and write your equation now. What will J equal? So J will equal the 7/10 of a meter in the first jump plus the 18 hundredths in the second. Now remember, because these have different denominators, we can't just add across and say that J equals 25 hundredths. Right? We cannot do this. We need to rename our fraction first. So we need to rename 7 as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Well, if I know I'm trying to get to a denominator of 100, what do I need to multiply 7/10 by? Give myself more space here. So I have my 7/10, and I need to get my denominator to be 100. I need to change the size of pieces in 7/10. If I multiply my denominator by 10, then I also must multiply my numerator. Remember, I'm multiplying by a fraction equivalent to 1. So my fraction, 7/10, is equivalent to the fraction of 70 hundredths. So now I can find the value of J. Right? 7/10 is equal to 70 hundredths plus the 18 hundredths. Therefore, the wallaby must jump 88 hundredths of a meter. All right. Let's go ahead and complete the check understanding. If you are feeling confident with this, please pause the video and complete this on your own. If you would like more practice, stay and do it with me on the video. Number 1, Molly has 3/10 of a pound of red clay and 63/100 of a pound of gray clay. How many pounds of clay does she have? So first I need to find 3/10 with a denominator of 100. If I'm multiplying my denominator by 10, I also must multiply my numerator. So I know that 3/10 is equal to 30/100. So I'll add my 30/100 plus my 63/100 to find how many pounds of clay she has. And I find that she has 93/100 of a pound. Right, for number 2, we have 41/100 plus 1/10. We need to find our equivalent fraction for 1/10. I know that 1/10 will equal some number of hundredths. I need to multiply by 10/10. So I find that 1/10 is equal to 10/100. When I add them together, I get 51/100. Let's take a look at number 3. We have 8/10 plus 15/100. We need to rename 8/10 in hundredths. I know I'm multiplying my denominator by 10, so I must also multiply my numerator. So I know that 8/10 is equal to 80/100 plus 15/100 will give me 95/100. We have 2/10 plus 67/100. 2/10 will equal how many hundredths? 2/10 is equal to 20/100 plus our 67/100 will give us a total of 87/100. And finally, we have 33/100 plus 3/10. 3/10 is equal to 30/100. So if we have 33/100 plus 30/100, we will get a total of 63/100.